Hi, thanks for joining me today. I have another alternate project to share with you. It's for the February 2017 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Before we begin, I just want to show you the pieces that were left over from the previous project. I've cleaned up the pieces and stacked them on top of a new cardstock. So we have this piece here left over, which we're probably going to use for another project. And then we're going to focus on the top part of that small little window. And what I did was I sliced off the whole section there, even to that top window. And we're going to be using that top portion along with those two pieces there that I've showed you. Now that piece is on the left or on the right of the screen. I did cut that in half because I was doing some experimenting, but we're going to use all of those along with that strip of Calypso coral, which I've cut down, but I did slice it also in half again. So you're going to see why in a moment. Cut down a white piece of cardstock at 1 1/4 by 2 1/2, and that piece there that has the straight edge all the way around, we're going to put that on the top part. So we're going to be making a cake, and the bottom part with the wave, I think it's suited for the bottom part of the cake. The piece with the two tabs, we're going to remove that, and I'm just going to clean up the edges because I didn't do a very good job when I trimmed them off. That piece there is going to be going in the center of the white cardstock. We're going to glue down the Calypso coral pieces first, and note that I am gluing down the straight edge, and that's going to be the top part of the cake. I didn't do a very good job lining that up, so I'm going to remove the white edge that's showing up. And now we're ready for the second Calypso coral piece. And then we'll put down this piece there. It has a little crease on the left, so we're going to glue it down on the right. And then once that's done, we'll just remove the excess card pieces there. And then grab your corner chomper or a corner rounder, whatever you have. We're going to round the top part of the cake, which is the straight edge part of the Calypso coral. So I did a 1/4 inch round, a 1/4 inch. I removed a 1/4 inch. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to the candles, and that's what that piece looks like to me. And I'm making it about 1 3/8 wide, and I'm just going to line up the darker blue parts, which to me is the flame of the candle. I did have a different idea and it didn't really work out too well. So in a way, even though they're cut in half, I think it added a little something to the image, but you could leave it intact without cutting it. By cutting it, you can actually bring the flames a little closer. I'm just going to connect that small candle piece there with some washi tape of all things. Now you could make a wider candle for your cake, and I do have a card that I made earlier, which I'm going to share with you later on in the video. Now we're going to be doing some die cutting, and we're going to use the Shaker Shapes framelits, and we're going to use the piece right there, and that's going to be the base for the cake. And a piece of cardstock that measures 2 by 4 inches. We're going to use the CUTIE THINLITS, and we're going to use that wiggly line there, which we're going to call it a scallop piece. We're going to die cut that twice on this cardstock, and once that's done, we're going to use that piece on the project. And then on a scrap piece, you're going to do the same thing, because we're going to need 2 scallop pieces for the cake. And there are the two pieces that were die cut. We're just gluing it down, and note that I'm leaving a little overhang on the left side just to add some interest to the cake, and then we will snip afterwards the little sharp edges just to round it up. And the bottom piece there, I'm gluing it down on the other side. That's because I put glue on the wrong side, so I had to go on the other side of it. And this piece, we're going to line it up right to the edge. Okay, so our piece there is almost done, but we're going to be moving on to creating the card base. So with Flirty Flamingo cardstock, we're going to cut that at 4 1/4 by 11 and score it at 5 1/2. And we're going to use the cherry on top design paper, and we're going to cut it at 4 1/4 by 5 inches. And I believe that card pack is actually discontinued. All right, so moving back to the white 2x4 scallop piece that we die cut earlier. Mine happened to be a little longer than 4 inches, so I just slice a bit off of there, and now we're going to adhere it to the design paper. And I'm going to add this washi tape from the Affectionately Yours washi tape set. I did place it a little bit high on the cardstock there, so I did remove it and lower it off screen. And now we're moving on to the little design paper strip. I'm going to cut that at 3 1/4 by 4 inches. And then we're going to trim down the vellum at 5/8 by 7 inches. And then we're going to pull out the stamp set from the February 2017 kit. And you could use the Happy Birthday or Celebrate stamp, but in this example we're going to use Happy Birthday. And I'm just putting on some anti-static powder on there before I emboss. And we're going to white emboss that. I happen to have the Zing white embossing powder in there, which I haven't switched over with the Stampin' Up! White embossing powder. And to adhere this strip there, we're going to use the multi-medium glue. And we'll just stick that onto that little strip there. And we'll fold over the edges and then glue those down. And we'll raise that sentiment up with some double-sided foam tape. Just line it up just above that washi tape there so it peeks out nicely. And then we're going to put together the cake. So we're going to adhere the candle right to the cake, and then we're going to put the base on. And we're going to raise the cake up also. Add some more foam tape to it. And we're also going to put a little bit right on the base too. Now we're ready to assemble all the pieces. And we're going to add this little flower that I made from the first video. And then one more little thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab that star punch and the candle piece there from the kit, and we're going to punch about 3 times. And we'll scatter the stars across the card front there. And then we'll just glue down all the stars using the pick-me-up tool. It works pretty good, but for teeny tiny pieces it doesn't work that well. Well, that's my card for today. I hope I've given you more inspiration in using your paper pumpkin kit. In just a moment, I'm going to share with you one other card that I made earlier that has a much wider candle spread. Thanks for joining me today. Bye now.